Yo, hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Tom. You're live on the air in the pits of metal chaos. How you doing, Tom? Can you hear me?
Oh, wait. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So we're live in the pits of metal, Tom. What's going on today, brother?
Not too much. Was at the skate park today. Facebook now. We couldn't practice right now because of the COVID-19 bullshit. So all we do right now is writing new songs, and yeah, we should have gone on 2 tours this year, but both got postponed because of the COVID-19 stuff that's going on right now. So we just do songwriting and send song ideas to each other, and I write lyrics. And I have more time now to drink beer, watch horror movies, and go to the skate park.
Now, the band Hateful Agony started in 1997.
Yeah, that's correct.
So now you're one of the original members, right?
I'm the only remaining original member, yeah. Most of them left because they had different interests in life, like more the family guy stuff, or they wanted to head in another musical direction. And I always wanted the band to remain as a thrash metal band with some influences from old school hardcore and death metal, and I don't want it to change the style too much. And sometimes you don't get along with people, or they are not as motivated as when you started first out, and sometimes people lose interest. So I still pretty much listen to the same music like I did in the late 80s, early 90s, so I'm the only one who is still in the band and keeps the band going.
So after all these years of doing Hateful Agony, doing the band Hateful Agony, what still keeps you, what keeps you motivated to keep doing it?
Not the money, of course. It's more like the fun. I wanted to be involved when I first started in something that I love and where my heart is at, and I wanted to be part of the music which I loved. And when we started, there was nothing like that anymore. I mean, I think in South Germany there were like 3 bands who did this, what we are doing now. I think it was us, Armistice, and Delirium Tremens, maybe 2 other bands we didn't knew about, but it was pretty much dead, and everyone was going to play either grunge or black metal, and people told me I'm crazy for starting a thrash band in the late 90s, but I didn't give a shit because it was the music I grew up with and that I always wanted to play. And yeah, we got a lot of shit from people who said, "Oh, why don't you play like in a black metal band because everything is said and done in thrash, blah blah blah." And now most of their bands are split up, and here we are going on tour with bands like Atrophy and Intruder, and play gigs with Flotsam and Jetsam and Tankard. It's more like being part of something you grow up with, and that had a big impact on your life. Then I don't know, fame or money, or that wasn't the case. It was just the fun and good outlet for aggression in a artistic way.
Now you guys have 6 full-length albums, all right?
Yeah.
The last one came out 2018, Plastic Culture Pestilence.
Yeah, that's right.
So you guys are due for a new album, right?
Yeah, we actually wanted to tour a bit more, like a year or so more, but no one knows what is going to happen right now, and if we can leave the country, or if we have to stay here, or if we just can play in Germany. So we are just in the songwriting mode right now, and just wait and see what happens. And I try to give like some interviews and talk with people online and mail out merch. And like I said, I tried to send you our CD, which wouldn't happen because there are no flights to the US right now. So yeah, we do what we can do right now to promote the band, and we write songs, but sadly we can't play live, and that's something I love to do and I always want to do, and go to different countries, meet new people, but that's not an option in the next month. So we are back in the songwriting modus.
Now, Tom, were bands like Sodom, Creator, and Destruction influences on you?
Yeah, of course. You can't grow up like in the late 80s in a small village in Germany without being influenced by like fucking Creator. I love all the bands. I grew up with their music. There was so many good stuff coming out at the time. I think you can buy like pretty much every power metal, thrash metal album from crossover album from 1986 until 1991 blind, because there was so much good music everywhere. It doesn't matter if you look at Germany, like, or the Bay Area, or Florida, or Japan. Every country and every city had great bands, and I really dig that area. It's the stuff I listen to most. It doesn't matter if it's like German thrash or American thrash. Some people are just I only listen to German thrash because it's more aggressive, or I only listen to American thrash because they have the better musicians. I think fuck that. Listen to what you want, and take your influences from all kinds of music, and don't be just so stubborn and narrow-minded and just one thing and everything other sucks. So yeah, I hope that was a good answer to your question.
Now, the band Death Roll, they were from Germany too, right?
Yeah, they were from Düsseldorf, I think, yes.
Yeah, I remember buying their vinyl record way back when.
Yeah, that's what I said. There was so much good stuff, and we have on our last record Use Idol of Mine, Chris from Erosion. It's a German crossover band which pretty much sounds like a mix of Voivod, SOD, and Nuclear Assault. And there was so much good stuff going on in that years. And since 10, 15 years, again, we have tons of good thrash metal bands in Germany. Repent, for instance, or Traitor. And I'm glad that it's back, and it's back everywhere. I gave an interview with another American radio station, and that guy turned me into Enforced and Red Death, two pretty good bands. So I think there's good music again everywhere, and there's no need to just listen to the classics that came out in the 80s, because since 10 or 15 years there are good metal and thrash metal and death metal and whatnot bands everywhere. You don't just have to listen to the like first 3 big 4 band albums, and people are always whining and complaining about how good the past was, but do yourself a favor and check out new bands. That's what I do.
Yeah, like we have the new younger bands from the United States, Thrashers, like Warbringer and Havoc. Very good band.
Yeah, that's funny. If you listen to the song on our In the Name of God record, the first song, Son of Sam, the guest vocals are from John Cavill from Warbringer, because he spent like 2 weeks at my apartment before they signed the contract with Century Media. It was like, I don't know, in 2007 or 2008, and we recorded the album. And they have just recorded, I think, War Without End. And he just did some guest vocals. So the metal world is really small, and I think everyone knows everyone. There's tons of good stuff. I mean, the scene in Los Angeles is great. You have bands like Warbringer, Fueled by Fire, and Sacrificer. And I don't know if Bonded by Blood are still around. But like I said, there's tons of good shit everywhere. You just have to search a bit, and you will find good metal acts everywhere.
Now, have you guys ever played with Sodom or Creator Destruction?
we played with Assassin, we played with Tankard, we played with Legion of the Damned, with Flotsam and Jetsam, but not with Creator and not with Sodom and not with Destruction, but with a lot international touring speed and thrash metal bands. One would be a dream come true for me to play with Creator or Sodom. I'm not so big fan of Destruction. I mean, I grew up with their music too, but I was like more into Creator and Sodoms and Destruction kind of thing.
So now, Tom, what do you enjoy most about being a musician?
Doing what I want without having the will of someone else forced on me by you have to play this or you have to play that there, and I played in different bands over the years, everything from like straight rock and roll over hardcore punk and death metal. I helped out a lot of bands when they were searching for a drummer here in South Germany, and I think everything I want to play, I can play in a thrash metal band. I can't have like a second bass drum when I play in a hardcore punk band, and there was always limitation. You can't do this or you can't do that because it doesn't fit the genre, blah blah blah. And I have the freedom to play what I want when I play thrash. So I think that's the best thing. And like getting drinks for free, getting inside of shows for free, getting shirts for free. It's truly magic if you go into a record store and you go to the metal part of the store and you hold your own CD or your own vinyl in your hand. So that's something I think most kid dreams of, and I can travel different countries and play music. So it's a blessing.
Now, what do you hate about being a musician?
Being constantly broke and having an alcohol problem. But there isn't so much. I mean, dealing with people sometimes is a bitch. You have to make. You sometimes hate yourself because you have to do some things to make other people happy. Not in a. You have to find a middle way to sort things out, and it's not always easy if you have like too many people want their will forced on you, and I think the biggest problem is just the money, and sometimes dealing with people.
Now, if you were able to change one thing in the music industry, what would you change?
Oh, that's hard. I think the artists should be paid better. I think the attitude sucks that people always want everything for free. Like, oh, can I go for free to your concert? I want your shirt for free. I want your CDs for free. And they don't support like small bands. I think if I could change something or try to change, it would be the attitude of people towards musicians, be it fans only going to big concerts like Iron Maiden or Metallica for the 60th time, and not supporting small bands, and they have like $50 for a Metallica concert and don't have $10 for a small band, and don't buy the merch and just go to the concerts when they're on the guest list. I think that attitude sucks. I rather go to small concerts and support new bands than to go like to the dinosaur. And I think like people who are responsible for the lineup of the open airs should get more young and new bands so that there's a mix of old and new bands, and not just the dinosaurs, not just like we have one new band that opens for 15 old bands, and it's always the same lineups. And every German open air each year, like you always have like Nightwish, and you always have Overkill, and you always have Destruction, and you have Iron Maiden. Nothing wrong with the bands, but the people should think about that most of the legions, metal legions, are now in their late 50s, early 60s, and there has to be a new army of bands who step in the footsteps of them if they retire.
Yeah.
And I think young bands don't get the support that they should get from fans and from people who organize festivals and concerts, etc.
Now, what has been the biggest festival that Hateful Agony has played?
Oh, that was a Sticky Fingers festival. We played there with Propane and Soulfly and Agnostic Front. I think we played to a crowd of it was like 900 or 1,000 people, so that was the biggest thing we ever played. And we played the record release party at Thrash Assault Fest, which is now called Metal Assault Fest, when Legion of the Damned released their second album. I think Delirium Tremens and Witchburner were also on the bill, and that one was packed too. So this were the two biggest concerts, and the Thrash Assault, I think it was the first or second Thrash Assault, really ruled, because we had like very aggressive pits and lots of stage divers on the stage, and I love the whole good friendly violent fun.
Now, your last album, Plastic Culture Pestilence, where did you guys record that one at?
Oh, that was at Grotesque Studios. This is a studio of a friend of ours. And we were searching for a studio with a producer who mainly does metal. We doesn't want to go to a studio where someone works who doesn't have the clue of metal, and we doesn't want to have like a too modern sound. I'm a big fan of the Morris Sound records. For instance, Demolition Hammer, Epidemic of Violence, has the best sound ever any record had in the whole fucking world, in my opinion. So I went straight to him and told him, hey, can you give us the same production, or try to give us the same production that Epidemic of Violence from Demolition Hammer has? Because I'm still a fanboy, even if we do this for so long, and I still buy records every month. I go to shows, I check out new bands, so I'm still a fan. And I always wanted to have a record with a production which sounds like the Morris Sound early 90s recordings, especially the Demolition Hammer records. And I think it really suits our sound, because the older records had more like a typical German thrash production, where everything was very raw and sometimes a bit sloppy sounding, and the last two records were like more in the Florida vein, music-wise and production-wise, more aggressive and more like the missing link between thrash and death metal. So we are very happy with the production, especially on the vinyl version of the last album.
Now, Tom, at what age did you start playing the drums?
Oh, that was in 1993, I think. I always wanted to play bass, because it was a time when like Guns N' Roses and Metallica was the biggest bands on earth, and everyone wanted to be like the next James Hetfield or the next Slash, and everyone played like guitar or wanted to sing. Everyone wanted to be like the singer, and I thought, if there are so many singers and guitarists, I'm pretty sure the band will need a bass player, so I wanted to play bass. But our village was so small, there wasn't anyone who gave bass lessons, but there was a guy who was at the Drummers Collective in Brooklyn. He studied at the Drummers Collective in Brooklyn, and my grandma had in the newspaper and said, if you can take bass lessons, why don't you take some drums lessons? So I and a friend went to him, and he said to me I should bring some music that I love, and I brought in some metal CDs, and he tried his best to teach me all the things that I need to play Slayer songs and Metallica songs and what I was listening to at the time.
So what was your first drum kit? What kind of drum kit did you own? Your first one?
I think the first one was a white Mapex kit, the same that the Sepultura drummer has. I still have it, and we sometimes take it to gigs. I mean, it's old, but it's okay. We change the skins and stuff, so it doesn't sound too bad. It's over like 20 years old, but it still works out. We have different drum kits when we are in the studio, and I use different drum kits when we are in the studio. But if we go on tour, like in a van, I go with my old beat up kit, and it does the job.
Now your old beat up kit, what kind of drums are those?
That was a Mapex kit.
Now how many pieces of that is a kit?
Oh, I think it was like 10 pieces.
Now with that one, sometimes you use a single bass, sometimes you use double bass?
No, I use a single bass drum and a double bass machine.
Now do you have a double bass drum kit too?
No, sometimes live depends on who we play with. Last time we played with Suicidal Angels, we had like this big fucking Nico McBrain kit with like 6 toms and 2 bass drums, but it's just too much stuff to set up and to travel around with. So I just have 1 bass drum, 3 toms, and like the double pedals. I used to play roto drums on the first 3 albums because Possessed had the roto drums and Sepultura had the roto drums on the first albums. You can hear them on Pleasure to Kill from Creator. So I always wanted to have a set of roto toms, but it's just too much stuff to set up. I only have like the normal practicing set when we go on tour.
Now what kind of drumsticks do you use?
Vic First. Beep.
Now, how did you come up with the name of the band?
We were called Holocaust first, and they wouldn't let us play in Germany for obvious reasons with that name. And they said, if you don't change your name, we won't let you play. We were just kids. We weren't having like big thoughts about how we named the band. It was just a fun name. We laughed and kept that name and never thought that anyone would be mad at us or something. So I was like, okay, we have to search another name, and it was the first thing that came to my mind, and we called the band like that. And it really suited my emotions at the time, because I had a pretty rough phase in that time of my life. So and it fits the music and the lyrics, so we kept that name. And it was better than Holocaust, way better.
Now, before Hateful Agony, did you play any other bands?
Yeah, I played in Caddis, which was a death metal band, pretty much old school death metal, like Massacre, very simple, just like four riffs, and with a bit of groove thrown in, and we parted ways because of the musical direction, and they wanted to play more like the Norwegian style, like Dissection, for instance, and I always hated that crap. I wanted to play more like a bit more technical and a bit faster, like D-side, and they wanted to wear makeup and stay on stage and all the gay shit. And they kicked out the bass player, which was a good friend of mine at that time, and I brought him into the band, and they kicked him out without even asking me if I'm okay with that. So I quit that band, and I was in a power metal band, which was more like the aggressive American power metal, like Ice at Earth, like the harder Ice at Earth stuff. And I played at a rock and roll band, which sounded a bit like Ramones, Gangrene, Motorhead, Zeke. The band was called Slut Freak. We had one CD, and we played some gigs with mostly punk bands. And I did some shows with unknown bands from Munich, with hardcore bands and death metal bands and punk bands every time they needed a drummer. So I started in 1993 and was always busy. And I think Hateful Agony is the band. The long run, it's a band who is a long running band from everything I did.
Now, what drummers are some of your biggest influences?
Dave Lombardo, of course. Vinny Days from Demolition Hammer. The guy from Sadus. Bill Ward. And I really dig the guy who played on the Exhorder record, on the first two Exhorder records. So they are my biggest influences, especially Vinny Days when it comes to the double bass stuff, and Dave Lombardo for the fills and for the speed, more like the Sadus drummer. There are a lot of drummers which I really look up to, but I think the ones I mentioned are the ones who influenced me the most.
Okay, now, what would you consider to be your fondest memory of being in this band?
My fondest memory? Oh, there's too much. Both. We went on tour with Virus, which was really great. I could write a book about it. We went on tour with Aggression from Canada in 2016, which was like a dream come true because I love the Full Treatment record to death. We did so many shows with bands I grew up with and bought the record when I was a teenager. For instance, Intruder. I think John from Intruder did an interview with you too. We played with Flotsam and Jetsam. It was all like stuff that I always wanted to do and which I finally had the chance to do. And there are many very good and funny memories. I think playing with Tankard is always fun because they're funny guys. So I think all the trouble that you have with with money and people and all the stress you have and the little time when you work full time and have a band that goes on tour and releases records, it's worth to do it because of all the other things like recording and studio and playing live, because it's so much fun to do that, and it doesn't matter anymore when you go on stage or if you write new songs. All the stress doesn't matter anymore. All the bullshit you go through doesn't matter anymore. So, I would consider most of the things I do with a band fun, and only some tiny bits is just stress and shit. But most of the things you do, like recording and playing live, is fun. And shows and tours are always fun.
Now, do you have any funny or embarrassing moments from any of your shows you could talk about?
Yeah, once we played a festival, and our singer broke one of his guitar strings, and he had a second guitar on him, and he put on the second guitar, and the same string was also broken. So we didn't have any guitar anymore, and we were asking all the other bands if they can lend us a guitar, and they were all death metal or grindcore bands, and we had the standard heavy metal E tuning, and they were all like down tuned to D, and we had to stop our concert because the fucking idiot forgot his strings at home, and we couldn't find another guitar that suited our sound and was in our tone. So that was embarrassing as hell.
What do you think are the pros and the cons of the music business?
The pros is traveling, meeting new people, getting drunk for free, getting merch for free, getting music. The negative things are the money side, the time you invent for nothing. Like for instance, I was sitting every day in front of my computer to do the whole booking for this year, and now because of the COVID-19 crap, everything is cancelled. So I spent a whole lot of time for nothing, like a lot of people who play music and go on tour right now. And I think there are way more pros than negative things. So I'm still happy with what we do, even if we just can write songs now. And I'm looking forward to go on tour and meet people like the Intruder guys again, or you, for instance, if we have the chance to come to the US. So it's definitely more positives than negative.
Now, do you get a lot of messages from people from the United States that want to see you guys come here?
Yeah, it's funny because when we did like the In the Name of God album and the Obey album in like 2006 or 2008, I got a lot of, we didn't have a contract at that time. I got a lot of mail from California and from places like San Diego and whatnot. And I always mailed out CDs to the West Coast, and we traded CDs and were in contact with bands like Cryonics and Warbringer and Fueled by Fire and whatnot, like the whole LA Latino thrash scene. And I met the Fueled by Fire drummer at an open air and told him that they have played a nice show and whatnot. And he was like, "Oh, you play in a band too?" And we was asking for our name. I was like, "Hateful Agony." "What? You play in Hateful Agony?" Blah blah blah. So everyone knows everyone. And even before we had the contract, I mailed out most of the stuff. I mailed out, and most of the clicks we had on MySpace back then was California and the United States, and especially Los Angeles and places like San Diego or Compton. So I know a lot of people from the States and now from the East Coast too, like the Sacrificial Blood guys and Birth AD. I think the Americans dig our music more than the Germans, because the Germans are always, they like bands you can sing along to, like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Manowar and the Scorpions, you know, stuff you can sing to after like 10 beers. And I think the Americans dig the aggression that we have in our music. And every American metalhead loves Creator. It's like all the Germans love Iron Maiden, every American loves Creator. And so I think it would make more sense for us to play in the US than to play in Germany, because I think people in the US will get our music more than the Germans, right? Because we're not the type of sing-along band. We are more like the type of break your bones band.
Yeah. So now, what has been one of your favorite tours that you guys have done?
Yeah, like I said, Virus and Aggression, because it was every day was a challenge because of all the chaos, and we were all constantly drunk, and we were all having fun, and there's tons of shit that happens during the tours, like van broke down, or like some homeless people in Prague wanted to stab us with knives. We got in fights. We played with some very good bands in Italy. Italy and Greece are, I think, the best places to play in Europe because the food is always great. The women look great. They know their fucking metal. There's no one in the audience with like, I don't know, army haircut and a Metallica shirt. They all know the history. They're really there from the heart. We played Italy, and it was so fucking hot that we played in our underwear, and they were doing a circle pit the whole set. When all three bands played without any break, they stage dived and headbanged like maniacs, which would never happen in Germany. So extreme, because people there are really really metal fans with heart and soul, and I think they see if a band is authentic, or if you just pretend to be something, and it's really a lifestyle there, and not, oh look, I'm at this concert, this band is cool now, so I have to take like pictures with my iPhone with one of the members, and all that hoitsy-toitsy crap doesn't matter there. It's more about like being a real fan of the music, and it's almost like a religion. So I love playing Italy and Greece because people there are so enthusiastic, and that's the same that I've heard about South America.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome, man. Now, how many social media sites can we find the band?
The best is to contact us on our Facebook page. There will you get like the fastest answers, and you can buy merch or book us for shows, or just ask questions or bullshit with us.
Now, how important is social media to your band?
Right now, very important. I mean, when we started, it was like more about writing letters. So you went to the mailbox and you get a letter from like the Dragon Slayer, whatnot, and everything was like really mythical, and I don't know. And then some years later, when the internet came, you like saw these people on their profiles, and it was like, man, the Dragon Slayer looks like Jabba the Hutt with asthma, and it was taking a bit of the mysterious away that was there before. I mean, I got like letters with pentagrams on and signed with blood, like Dragon Slayer and shit like that. It was cool and funny, but I think you have more chances to play tours, and like I said, for instance, the whole California thing where you mail out your CDs to places like Compton, I think that wouldn't have happened without the net and without the connection from all the labels and all the bands and all the die-hard fans who communicate with the bands and help them to find gigs, or give them just sleeping bags and food to eat and a place to stay if they're on the road. So yeah, I think it's very important for every band that wants to tour and to release records. The internet is very important. We couldn't have done this with just writing letters like in the late 90s, when we just wrote letters and didn't have computers.
So now, Tom, the song "The Iceman" off your last album, what is Iceman about?
The Iceman is about a mafia killer. Yeah, he killed some people in New York, I think. It's some time ago that I saw the docu and wrote the song. And yeah, the mafia got to know about his talents, and they hired him as contract killer, and he killed like hundreds of people, and he's now sitting on death row, I think. And yeah, I think there's a movie out about the Iceman, I have not seen the movie, but I saw the documentary like 5 years ago when I wrote the song. I can't remember everything about it because I wrote so much, and read so much stuff about serial killers like the Son of Sam or the Night Stalker or the Iceman on the net. I had like a phase in my life where I just did research like twice, like pretty much every day a week about like serial killings and stuff like that. And I had like the Macabre albums and was searching for Albert Fish on the net, and I was a lot on Crime Library, reading all the trials and what they have done. So it's a really interesting topic, and I think there will be more songs about that topic, but we don't do lyrics on purpose. It's just what comes out. It's just how about what influences me at the time. It could be like a movie, or it could be a real life thing. We have some songs about politics, and so it's just the moment in time and the things that you think about. And we don't have a master plan if we write lyrics. It's just what comes to your mind at that time.
Now, do you write lyrics for the band?
Yes.
So do you watch horror movies too?
Yeah, I wrote a song about I think it was Violent Domination, and one of our earlier albums was about the film Man Bites Dog. I wrote about the Books of Blood. Humanimal is about a Clive Barker book. It's about a story in the Books of Blood. I wrote about the Silent Hill movie. It's just what's important for me at the time. So it could be a movie, it could be political, it could be something personal, it could be about serial killers, so it switches. And I was thinking to write about a concept album about the pestilence in Europe, but I think it's more interesting if you have a record with different topics than just one topic, because more people can rely to different things than just one topic, like the pest, for instance. So it's just what keeps me entertained at that moment.
Now, don't you have songs about war too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're more in the punk vein, like bands like Discharge are also a huge influence for us, not just thrash and death metal. I also grew up with a lot of hardcore and punk stuff like Discharge and DRI and The Exploited, and they always had like anti-war songs, and I try to write lyrics which are simple and come to the point very fast, like Discharge. And so I think every thrash band has a war song somewhere, and we have some too, not only because we have to have a thrash band, but because I also watch documentaries about World War II. And if you are German and go to German school, you learn a lot about the Third Reich and the First World War, because it's a big important part of our history. So you always get fed with that stuff at school, and it's an interesting topic. And you have so many documentaries on YouTube from different countries and from different times and different viewpoints. It's always interesting to learn something new, just about the way they fought, or the political agenda behind, or the weapons they used. You can write, I don't know, like 500,000 metal albums about war with different topics, about war itself. So I think that's something that somehow belongs to metal, just like songs about beer or songs about heroes and dragons and whatnot. So but we saw it lyrical-wise more from the punk side. It was more criticism about war and not the glory of war, like some